it's such a letdown after a game like last week. And Kansas City's not the barometer in the NFL. It's Buffalo's barometer because they haven't been able to beat them. So you're kind of like, hey, if we get there, can we beat Kansas City? The truth is, looking at this year, like you could beat Kansas City and still damn lose the next game. And the defense looked bad at times. I thought Hairston got routed a couple times by Waddle. Dumpster fire inside. I think that's the big key is like there's a 5-alarm dumpster fire inside on that Bills defense. And the backers aren't great, but they're dudes riding public transportation on this defense. Like Phillips really struggled. I don't want to single anybody out, but he really struggled. And it was hot down there. You could just see guys melting. They lose Landon Jackson. Yep. He's MCL, PCL. The hits keep coming. You lose that Oliver last week. You were without Epinesa. But after Tua threw his second pick, the one in the second half, it's fucking 16-6. This loss is on the fucking offense. It's not on the defense. People are going to say, hey, what happened to defense? They looked good last week. Well, Kansas City can't run the ball. It's always going to be an issue against teams that can run the football. You have to find a way to score the football. You have to find a way to play complementary football, and I thought the offense let the team down. 5 3-and-outs to start the game. Not good enough Joe Brady, not good enough Josh Allen. James Cook had 53 rushing yards. I talked about the heavy boxes. Allen had all day, okay? And in a lot of situations, there were not options, okay? And it was an ugly deal when the Dolphins held their breath and decided to man this group up. The Dolphins are terrible in the secondary. And I think that speaks to the weapons outside that we know that Buffalo does or doesn't have. But I still think there were opportunities that they missed, and turnovers were it, man. 3 turnovers in plus territory, 2 of them on explosive runs. James Cook, Josh Allen on an 18-yard sneak. The pick in the end zone capped off a 9-minute drive out of the half. It's just not fucking good enough. Do I think the Bills' offense is broken? No. Do I think Joe Brady has not looked his best this year? I do not think he's looked his best. They're second in the league in total offense, I think. They're like, so, is this a pattern? No. But they get in these games where they just look off kilter. And when you take the run game away with the guys they have outside and you dare them to beat you, Josh has to play hero ball. I think early in this game when you watch him, he was in that mode where he was dissatisfied taking the check down. It's like a kid that was playing video games, is all stimulated and can't sit still. Last week was so stimulating. You want to go for the jugular, take the profit. They're going to play cover 3, work the flats. They put a lot of cover 3. He just did not take the profit. And losing Kincaid in this game, that's their whole offense. And it was later, but it's their whole offense. He was frustrated. He was talking shit to Dotson at the half. I've never seen Josh look so like somebody was getting under his skin. This was a terrible fucking game from the Bills, and they walked into a hornet's nest, and they weren't ready to play. So they need to get their shit together. I mean, that's the bottom line, is that offense needs to get their shit together.
What are the issues that they're circling on the whiteboard today when they come into the facility? What are they on that offense? What are they saying? This is what we need to fix going into the next game.
I think first and second down passing. Mm-hmm. I think, especially when you're getting loaded boxes and people are taking the run game away, taking the profit, getting guys on the field. How are we using Khalil Shakir? Because in this game, I'm looking at Khalil Shakir on some of the plays, and I'm like, dude, he's your best guy, and you've got him on like a rookie, and you can't find a way to get him open. He's your guy outside. Otherwise, you got like Shavers and just guys that aren't supposed to be playing.
Right.
So would it help to get Josh Palmer back? Absolutely. And was it nice to see Keon Coleman win a 50-50 ball? Yeah, that's great. But it's a totally fucked up game script when you start with a bunch of 3-and-outs, early downs, man. What are you going to do when we decide to go on that drive that we went on in the third quarter, early in the game, take the profit? Just terribly disappointing day for the Bills offense.
Is it something that you look at it and you're like, they really should have made a move for a Jalen Waddle that was reported or another?
No, if there was a move to be made, to me, it's still on defense, because it's easy to overreact in this game and say, well, they suck offensively. They don't. They're one of the best offensive teams
They can make it there
with
the pieces they have.
They think, and I think for good reason, that when it comes to the playoffs, like, we can win games with the offense we have, because it starts with the run game. not every team is willing to sell out like that, and they did, and it worked. Having said that, I think the one place, and I mentioned this last week, I think maybe Brandon Beam felt pretty good about where he was after the Kansas City game, but you got to beat the other teams too. And I do think they match up well against Kansas City, but it kind of felt like coming out of this game, I feel a lot worse about the matchup with Indy. Indy had Sauce Gardner. If you win that game, you're winning on the strength of the quarterback being better. And that's the problem with the Bills. It's one of the most uneven roster constructions in the league, where it's just like you let areas of your defense atrophy. You've had injuries. Do I think Josh is the tits? Yeah, I think he's fucking awesome. But he played terrible yesterday, and the team is not good enough to overcome him playing an average game.
Yeah, and I think for the Bills, that passing game, when it's not looking good, the problems they're facing are actually kind of similar to the Bucs in terms of like the guys you're missing in the lineup at that point. Atlanta was a similar game to this one with at different points you were without Kincaid and Palmer. These are the guys you've built that passing game around, and especially with Kincaid and Palmer, like to your point about Shakir, Chris, like he's a piece that fits into that puzzle with those guys in the game. So it's just when you have those guys out of the lineup, if you built the passing game for, the whole thing gets a little disjointed.
He's not a number one.
Right.
Your number one is your tight end. So, no excuses. They played like shit.
Right.
And I didn't see them losing this game. I thought it'd be a dogfight, but I didn't see them losing this game. Yeah, and it ended up being a fucking 60 minutes.
You think that's a worse loss than the Falcons loss, Chris?
Yes, because of where you plan on going, what your aspirations are, what you did last week. We said this coming in the game. What do I want to see out of the Bills game? I want to see them look like the same team they looked like last week, which they have not been consistent. And shocker, they kind of lay an egg. 30-13 egg, not in the works. That's not what I had on my bingo card. But a loss when you play like that, it can certainly be that. But 16-6 in the fourth quarter, I don't want to blame the defense. And then you give up a couple long runs. So
to be a Bills fan and to lose this game and to see the Pats just rolling.
I still think the second game's a toss-up. I do. I think what the Pats did was great yesterday. It was great. But if I'm a Bucs guy, I'm sitting there saying, hey, if we can just get these massive big play meltdowns out of the fucking script, this is a 21-16 ball game in the fourth quarter. I think, the Patriots being a benchmark now for where you are because they're a good team, like you lost to another elite team. And, I think for the Bills, like it does come down to matchups. They're a game and a half back from New England now.
Is it a game and a half or two? Game and a half?
Is it two or a game and a half?
I think because they've already had their bye, it should be a game and a half. They are Patriots are 8-2, and the Bills are 6-3.
And the Patriots their schedule doesn't get a lot harder.
So the Bills they go Tampa Bay at Houston.
And remember, last year they laid a big egg against Houston. Big egg, lost that game.
And the Patriots look pretty easy down the stretch. They got Buffalo again, obviously.
They have Buffalo
Patriots
and Baltimore.
It looks like the Bills are going to go on the road.
Yeah. And someone tweeted yesterday, they were like, the AFC wild card being the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs is going to hit so hard wild card weekend.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's going to be wild.
It's crazy how quick that
wild
flipped.
card weekend's awesome. Anyway.
Yeah.
That'll be sick.